Yes, hello. This is Mayor Thurman Bill Barchi here at the Port Arthur Civic Center at the Mayor Barchi and the Emergency Management Team's Hurricane Preparedness Workshop. This is a workshop where we will try our best to disseminate to the citizens information that is necessary for survival during hurricanes, and also the possibilities of your being able to get the correct insurance coverage, windstorm coverage, or health information or information about you having, if you have a particular health type situation or someone with a chronic health situation, a family member, or you are, in charge of them. There's going to be information that healthcare persons, insurance professionals from TDM, from the Texas Division of Emergency Management, will be here, and we'll be getting kicked off in a few minutes to be able to deliver to you all of the information that's needed. Look, God blessed us on yesterday. He blesses us every day anyway. But on yesterday, He spared us again. Where Beryl, what it could have done to us, it didn't. I'm sorry for even my family over in Houston and other areas who are right now experiencing some discomforts right now. But here in Port Arthur, we have a few who have just a very minor discomfort of not having electricity, so you don't have any air conditioning. But guess what? The blessing, no loss of life, and we hardly have any loss of property. So look, we're good, and that's why we want to have this workshop today, so that you would be prepared, because look, it's just July the 9th. We've got to go through November. So hey, God bless you, and have an uneventful hurricane season.
Although I would love to take credit for the phenomenal job that these guys and guys do out here, my team has been great. Nothing would be possible without them. I'd like to name certain key members at this time. Our assistant city managers, Pam Langford and Dr. Alan Dickman, who always lend their assistance and expertise when needed. Our city manager, Ron Burke, who has been supportive and has assisted through along the way as well. As a city staff, nothing would be possible without any of y'all as well. I mean, y'all help me out all the time. So without further ado, at this time, I would like to bring up to the stage to do the opening statements our Director of Emergency Management, the Honorable Thurman Bill Barchi.
In the great city of Port Arthur, Texas. This is the inaugural, or our very first Mayor Barchi and the Emergency Management Team's Hurricane Preparedness Workshop. Now this event is designed to equip you, the citizens, with the necessary information to successfully make it through, survive, withstand, or simply live through a hurricane or a tropical depression spared us here in the city of Port Arthur. Yet again, from the perils of Hurricane Beryl. Even though some may still be experiencing the discomfort of no electricity, the proper source happens to be an organization that we call TDM, which is the Texas Division of Emergency Management. And TDM's annual meeting is actually held in the final week or during the final week of May.
And then tornadoes, there's a total of 113 tornado warnings issued by the National Weather Service between Houston, Lake Charles, and especially Shreveport. Shreveport broke their record yesterday, so it was a very busy day. And then the specifics for wind, rain, and storm surge, that'll be released later on once we finish the storm surveys. So now let's start off with some good news. There's no more tropical activity expected for the next 7 days, so at least we have a good week to kind of relax and catch our breath for this storm. Category 1, here's Port Arthur. You can see pretty much just the coastline is the most impacted. But as we move up higher in the storm scale, so Category 3 major hurricane, potentially much larger areas and much farther inlands impacted by the storm surge. And then going into category 5, even the worst case scenario, you see pretty much going through all of Jefferson County for the storm surge potential. So even if you're not in the cone of the storm, you still feel the impacts for sure. And speaking of the cone, so this is kind of the main product people look at during hurricane season, at least the one that people ask the most questions about. So this is basically showing the eye of the storm could be, but the wind impacts can go farther outside that cone. And then especially for decision makers, if you have schools or hospitals, this is a really important graphic for you. On the left side is the earliest reasonable time of arrival. So one of the ways we make hurricane forecasts is we do about 1,000 different simulations with the storm. So the left side is saying that that is the fastest reasonable time tropical storm force winds will arrive. So 90% of the time it's slower than what it shows on the left side. And then the most likely one on the right, that is the 50% mark. So that's when you expect winds to start. So if you have a lot of windows to board up, you might want to use the earlier time frame compared to the most likely.
To speak on insurance coverage today, I have a member from FEMA here today. At this time, I'll bring up Mr. Gilbert Giron with FEMA to speak in reference to floodplain management and mitigation efforts as far as it pertains to insurance.
All right, thank you for having me, I really appreciate it. So with a workshop, we're talking about preparedness, and preparedness, we need to change our way of thinking, right? So as they're bringing up my presentation, let me ask you a question. How many of you live in a floodplain? Raise your hand if you live in a floodplain. Offered through individual assistance is not the same as flood insurance. So you may hear some people like, I'm not gonna get flood insurance because FEMA's gonna give me some disaster assistance anyway, right? Well, the average flood insurance check for Hurricane Harvey was $116,000. The average individual assistance disaster check was $4,400. Which one is gonna get you back into your way of life faster?
First aid kit is very important to have your medications. You also want to look at having some form of hand sanitizer, hand soaps. For the most part, when we deal with these hurricanes, a lot of us go into the recovery efforts, and at that point in time, we start doing yard work. So you might want to look at investing in some type of insect repellent, because the mosquitoes get real bad out here in Southeast Texas. In the event that the mayor calls for an actual evacuation, we want to make sure that our vehicles are well prepared for us to get on the road and go. Certain things that you need to start looking at is ensuring that all your tires and everything's up to date, that you have all your oils, your anything that's going to help your car run good, make sure that it's taken care of and that it's maintenance. Make sure we don't look at it. A lot of us in the area where we're using our cell phones and our credit cards to pay for things. But if the power goes out, you might want to have some petty cash available. That way you have that available. Make sure that you have an emergency contact list for your family. If something happens to you and Lord forbid you get injured, at least you have something inside your car that has phone numbers for people to contact the people to get to you. The biggest things that we really truly want to have inside of our kids is something to keep all of their emergency documentation. You can imagine how hard it would be after a disaster if you couldn't prove your identity. I mean, we've been through that, especially as it pertains to Harvey for most of us. Most of us lost documents that, man, it was hard getting it back because most of them require 2 forms of identification. So if we have these things put away, we'll be able to recover quicker. Certain things that we want to keep in this will be our current photo IDs, our driver's license, birth certificates, social security cards, passports. Rule of thumb, always keep your social security number separate from all your other documentations to decrease the risk of identity theft. If we lose that, then somebody might utilize that information to steal our identity. So please make sure that you put that somewhere separate where you got that placed away.
Important phone numbers, family, friends, and neighbors. Sometimes we have individuals that don't have family living close to them, but they do have their neighbors, and their neighbors become family, and they actually worry about you when you're away from home. So make sure you have those numbers. In addition to out-of-town family members. You may have family members that may live in Louisiana, you're in Dallas, you're having to evacuate outside of Texas, and they're gonna be worried about you, they're gonna want you to give them a call. So make sure you have those numbers.
That's what we'll do that within 48 hours of the storm making landfall. Our evacuation hub that we've identified is the civic center. We evacuate people out of here. We have teams set up, the fire department, along with the police department, we have teams set up to get citizens in and out of here. If need be, we need to fly someone out. We do have a Elevac team that can also fly people out. That team will be set at Jack Brooks Regional Airport. Everything will be coordinated with the emergency management. Within that process, every medical facility, like hospitals along with nursing homes, have pre-plans. Those pre-plans outline how they evacuate their own patients, not only on this side, but also where they're going. Evacuation is more than just evacuating people out of the city of Port Arthur. It's also getting our citizens back home and getting here safely. One of the essential things we need to think about is how we go about doing that. So the team is set up a plan already. The plan has been implemented before. We've seen how it worked during Hurricane Harvey. Everything starts here at the Civic Center and goes out from here.
Plan ahead. You really have to plan ahead, you know, where you're going and things like that. There's a lot of places you can go that may not even allow pets. So plan ahead, get all the information in that you need. Like Mr. Houston said earlier, build an emergency kit for your pets. Including water, food, medicine, vet records, first aid kits, blankets, you know, all the things you're gonna need. Other important information is take your pet, because if it's not safe for you, it's not safe for the pets. And during a lot of the past hurricane, a lot of people left a lot of animals here. They were actually calling our office asking us to break in their home because they left the pets in the home. And they want us to go and break in the home. I said, well, I can't break in the home.